Hello everyone. Today I want to show you this amazing haul I got of orchids. A good friend of the family told me she had 5 orchids that she needed homes for. I was like, sure, you know. I guess they found out that I like orchids, so they thought, hey, we'll see if he wants his orchids. And I told her yes, but she said she only had 5. I didn't know that she meant as many as she actually brought, but that's fine. We'll find homes for all these. And surprisingly, she did take pretty darn good care of them. Some of them are planted in sphagnum moss, which we'll probably have to fix. This video may be long. I'm going to show you each and every one of these new orchids I have. Okay, so here we go. Some of these orchids, if you shop at the big box stores, you'll probably recognize right away. None of them have blooms on them now, so a few of them have name tags. And we'll go ahead, and this will be the first time I've really looked through them myself. Here we have a Phalaenopsis. It's in moss. I'm going to try to repot all of these as soon as possible. I see one good root there coming out, so it has promise. It's got a new leaf growing. Of course, the old spike needs to be cut off of there. So there's one. It's a big Phalaenopsis. And let's see, here is a Cattleya. And you can see it is a LC Star Parade Volcano Queen. Here it is. I believe this is one of the bagged orchids that you buy in the little mesh bags. Believe it or not, I've had pretty good luck with those. As far as when you repot them, they start to grow really nicely. Looking at this one, I don't see any new growth yet. Actually, there's a new growth spike right there. Actually, it looks like a flower spike. So this will plant my flower. How about that? It's like a sheath coming right out of the center. I don't know, it may not be, it may just be a leaf, but in my experience, when you have a sheath like that come out of the middle, it turns into a flower spike. So hopefully that's what that is. Okay, next is a Phalaenopsis, and it is in moss. But it has a new leaf. The leaf is in good shape. You know, like I said, she took pretty good care of these, other than I'm not a big fan of sphagnum moss. There are holes in the bottom of this pot, but there aren't any holes in the side, so we'll definitely have to repot this. It looks good. Old flower spike will need to be cut off. There's number 3. Now this one looks a little bad here. All the roots look very gone. No, it's in water, so that would be why. Standing in water. You do not want to ever leave your orchids standing in water. Well, yeah, I'll have to pull this one out and cut those roots off that are rotten, and you know, maybe there's 1 or 2 roots left in there afterwards. So there still is hope. It's got a new leaf growing up, so there's hope. There's always hope with orchids. I mean, these things, they're survivors. Okay, okay, let's move over to a new little platform. Next we have another Phalaenopsis. It's in sphagnum moss. All her plants are in sphagnum moss. I think I saw one in bark. I haven't really looked at these yet, so here we go. I don't see any roots. It's very, very, very wet in there, so this thing will need to be repotted as soon as possible, which unfortunately it is 6 p.m. and I can't really do it tonight, so I may have a pretty busy morning tomorrow morning. Gotta find room for all these things next too. Gosh. Okay, here we have another phal, and it's sitting in water. Well, you know, the roots are very gone on this one. It's got 2 new leaves coming up, but yeah, again, I'll have to repot it, and hopefully there are a couple savable roots in there. And it just looks very disgusting in there. I don't know if you can see that. It's all slimy and black. You do not want your orchid pots to look like that. That's a sure sign that it's got way, way too much water. Okay, I'm gonna guess this one. Oh, this one is not sitting in water. All the water dried up. It had a little bit in there. Came right out of the pot. The roots look great. Wow. The roots actually look amazing on this plant, considering. So this one will be, definitely will be savable. Lots of new little roots coming out of the sides, little aerial roots. It definitely wants a new pot. It's just in that little, I don't even know if it's a 2-inch pot, it's just so small. So yeah. Repotting this one may be a challenge because of the roots. That sphagnum moss is packed in there so tightly that I may have to let it soak for a minute before I can meticulously pull the sphagnum moss out of there. That'll be a job. No problem though, it'll be fun. Okay, so that makes number 7. And here we have number 8. There's no water in there. So happy it's not sitting in water, but it looks like it has been recently, and a lot for a while. The roots do have a green hue to them. They may be rotten or getting rotten, so we need to, again, with the case with all of these, they need to be repotted as soon as possible. So there's Phalaenopsis. Number, what is that, 7? 1 Cattleya and 7 phals so far. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put all these things. I guess I have to build a greenhouse. Okay, here is Phalaenopsis number 8. Again, same situation. Look, it is sitting in water. And that is a no-no. Does have some aerial roots that may save this plant, and it does have a new leaf coming in there. Wonderful. So I don't know what any of these are. I have no clue what color any of these are, what kind they are. The good news is that most of them have a lot of promise. And here we go again. Okay, this one's dry. But as you can see, it's still got the same thing. It's all black. It's been sitting in water. Sometimes in cases like this, all the roots are rotten, but you do have a couple aerial roots. Sometimes it's okay to leave just maybe 1 root or 2 of the rotten roots to give it an anchor. Because when I repot these, after I cut all the roots off, there's no anchor for the plant. So you can either use a stick as an anchor, or some of the roots that aren't quite rotten all the way, just leave them there, and that'll help anchor the plant a little bit until it can establish new roots like it's trying to do there. So again, another plant with lots of promise. once it finds a new pot. And here we go. This here looks like a cattleya of sorts. Again, I think it was a bag orchid. There it is right there. Camellia spots. I'll have to see what these look like on the internet. Hopefully there's a good picture. Or I'll just have to wait for them to bloom. And this one does actually have a new growth coming up right there, but again, it does need to be repotted. It's very promising though that maybe 2 new growths come in there. 1 there, 2. So there's another cattleya. Needs a little trimming, new pot. Hopefully the roots can be saved. Alright, let's move to the next shelf here. Goodness. A lot of orchids. Very happy. Okay, here we have an orchid. Now, these you can find them in the store. They're in these ceramic pots. No holes, nothing. Not even holes on the bottom. Okay, and these things are in sphagnum moss, ready to die. Because, you know, you're going to overwater them. No matter how hard you try not to overwater them, you're going to overwater these plants when they're like this. No holes, don't allow the roots to breathe. So yeah, they'll just rot and it'll die. But luckily this one, hopefully it's got a new leaf coming in. This is a new leaf here. It's almost done growing through. Hopefully it'll put out some good roots, or it still has a couple roots to save it. Orchids are easy, it says there, but that's all they give you to go on when you buy these things. Okay, next is this one has big huge leaf on it. Big huge leaf. In sphagnum moss. It's got a clear pot. This has got something good going for it. It's got holes on the bottom. It's in an actual orchid pot. I kind of use pots like these, but I drill holes in the sides. We have a green root there. Some dried up roots that have rotted. So one thing good about the clear pots, you can keep an eye on your roots. So this plant will need to be repotted in a more airy mix. I use bark and hydro beads and perlite. Some charcoal. So it just gives it a lot of air. Okay. Now here we go. Another Phalaenopsis. And I already have a ton, so this is I'm gonna have to find room for all of these things. But they're wonderful plants. It's hard to say no. When someone says, I have an orchid, do you want it? It's hard to say no. This one came with a tag. Pixie. Yibrisco Pixie. Yes, Cisco Pixie. I can't even say it. Okay. So again, same scenario. Packed in moss. I've unpacked these before and they are literally packed in moss. I mean, I don't know how they do it, from where they come from, but they look like they're rolled in the moss. Just, there's so much, it's incredible. Okay. Phalaenopsis. Try to get this one out of the box here. Here is another Phalaenopsis. I can tell this was it was a white flower that was dyed blue, so you could have blue blooms. They're really pretty. I don't really agree with the process because it makes a mess of the plant, turns the roots a weird color. It's hard to tell if they're dying or not when they're that weird color. Actually, this one doesn't look bad. Looks like it needs to be repotted and needs a little bit of water. Needs some love. Need to cut that flower spike off of there and put it in some new medium, new substrate, and let it stretch its legs, so to say. Put out some new roots. Okay. Here we have another Phalaenopsis. Get it out of its little pot. The roots on this one are hard to see. The pot's dirty. I see a green root there and this huge aerial root here that is not in the greatest shape, but it can be worked with. Sometimes you get some really good, like secondary roots, I guess, that come off of these roots, kind of like what it's doing right there. See a little secondary root, I guess. And there you go. This one needs some love. All of them need a little bit of love. That's all they need. New potting medium. And now I saved the best one for last. This one here, it amazes me what orchids can do. Here is just a Phalaenopsis, okay? It's in some bark. It's got a ton of sphagnum moss on the top. It's got some roots, green roots in the bottom here. And there goes the dog. I guess she decided she wanted to go swimming. Now we're gonna have a wet dog. All right, good job, Shelby. It is kind of warm today. It's in the mid-80s. She loves to swim. Okay, back to the roots. Anyways, the reason I was saving this is look at this. There's a Kiki there. See, little Kiki there. And there's a Kiki there. Okay. And there's another Kiki right here. There's actually two. One here, one here. And it's got some flower buds coming up. Secondary spike coming up. And I don't know, but it looks like a fourth Kiki right there. It's an amazing little plant. It's got little babies. So, and I don't know if it's putting out these babies because it's trying to survive and it thinks that it's in peril or what, but it just amazes me how these plants just do what they do for reasons I don't know. But yeah, that's the most interesting one of them all. So there you go, guys. It's a huge haul of mostly Phalaenopsis orchids, which I'm gonna have to find room for. But yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. I had fun making it, and it's kind of exciting when you get to see a bunch of new plants and see the different characteristics of each plant and watch each plant kind of grow and bloom into. A lot of these I have, like I said, I have no clue what color, what kind they are. So the next couple years will be full of surprises. And not just these, I have probably 40 more orchids inside that I haven't even made videos on yet. But she brought these over tonight and I thought, wow, before I find a place for them, I should make a video and kind of like to watch my video later, you know, a couple years down the line and see which ones made it, which ones didn't, and the outcome of everything. But this plant right here is amazing. Anyways, okay guys, Shelby, say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and have a great week.